If you have ever wondered how the blind experience the world, just ask Christine Ha. All you need is a little sticky rice, braised pork and egg, noodle soup, and a touch of Vietnamese love. And not only will you taste success, you will also feel it through all of those who love and admire her.
Season 3, the amazing Christine Ha! Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh my goodness me.
Hi.
Oh my
Thank you.
God.
Thanks for having me back.
We are so excited to have you back here. Season 3, Joe, come on, that was a decade ago.
It's a decade.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Well, as we continue to celebrate Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Month, we are also lifting up MasterChef superstar Christine Ha, not only the first blind contestant to ever audition for the wildly popular cooking show, but she went on to win the season. Born to Vietnamese parents who fled the Vietnam War, Christine grew up eating and cooking traditional dishes of her parents' generation, taking those cooking skills to the world through national television. Well, Chef Ha has become a global inspiration, using her platform to modernize traditional Vietnamese cooking that you can taste anytime in her Houston restaurant, The Blind Goat. Curious about the goat? Well, that's Christine's sign of the Chinese zodiac, but we like to say her goat stands for greatest of all time. Please welcome our goat, Master Chef Christine Ha. Great to have you, Christine.
Thanks for having me. Excited.
I love that you are in your kitchen. This could not be more perfect. If I would have known this, I would have had you cook live with me as we had a conversation. Darn it. All right, let's just go back a little bit, if you don't mind, for those who are getting to know you and your restaurant, especially as we honor this month. How did your love for cooking even begin? Was it with mom and grandma and all your family members?
My love for food began with them. I grew up eating really good home-cooked Vietnamese food, but I took it all for granted. I never learned to cook from my mom. She actually passed away when I was 14 and never taught me how to cook, didn't leave a recipe. So it wasn't until I was a young adult in college that I decided I wanted to teach myself a lot of the foods that I grew up eating, simply as a way to keep her spirit alive in the kitchen. And then my love for cooking grew at that point when I was able to cook food, and then my roommates and my friends and my family enjoyed it. So my love for cooking stems from being able to serve other people things that I've created with my own two hands.
Oh, Christine. Well, I mean, that's incredible. I can't even imagine everything that you have gone through then. Losing mom, then you lose your eyesight to this autoimmune disorder. Tell me how you processed that and then actually turned it into such a gift for cooking.
I definitely think that life throws a lot of challenges at many of us. Everyone goes through their own. People say it's always a lot of joy and hope. It was, of course, I went through those dark times where I was grieving the loss of my mother, grieving the loss of my vision. But I also am a firm believer that the world will continue on whether I decide to participate in it or not. So I had to find a way to adapt with this new life of not having a parent when I was young and then eventually not having vision as an adult, and figure out how can I still give back to society and contribute to this world. So for me, I knew that I had to figure out how to just continue cooking and pursuing things that I really love and continue to serve others in this world, despite any challenge that I come across. So that's kind of my philosophy with cooking, with how I run the restaurants, my businesses, and just how I try to live life.
Well, you are a shining example of that, no doubt. All right, this is a perfect transition. We're going to roll one of your at-home cooking videos, okay? Because I want you to talk about how you use your senses to cook. You know, you actually have an advantage here because you feel and you smell and you taste food in ways that, quite frankly, a lot of other chefs may not appreciate like you do, Christine.
Yeah, that's right. I find that using the other senses, like I'm much more in tune to how things taste, how things smell, and I'm not so caught up necessarily in how things look, although that is very important. Like people say they eat with their eyes first, but for me, I think about all the nuances that go into a particular bite of a dish. And so I've managed to turn that into an advantage and take all of the other things that go into making a dish really good into consideration. And so that's kind of the way I cook, just using my remaining 4 senses.
So your TED Talks, harnessing the power of otherness and how the blind see the world. Talk to me about those TED Talks. The way you define otherness.
Otherness to me, I used to think of as a disadvantage or something that growing up being Asian American, kind of being the child that would bring the stinky foods to lunch instead of having like a very American bologna and cheese sandwich made me feel like the other. And back then it was considered kind of a disadvantage, or I felt shame in being different. But I feel like now in this day and age, like otherness is something to be very much celebrated. I'm proud to be Vietnamese American. I'm proud to be women here in America. I'm proud to learn to have lived with a disability and be successful in my vocation in spite of that. So for me now, otherness is something to be celebrated because that's really what makes up the diversity of America.
Right, and then you have, you know, the other side of you, the blind community that really respects you and cherishes what you are doing. Tell us about how that has been a special part of your life as well, the advocacy that you have taken on within that culture as well.
Yeah, I think when I was on the show, I remember some of my friends that I've made on the show who are the other contestants I competed against. They told me that, Christine, do you realize like whether you win this season or not, your platform and your name and what you stand for is going to be so much bigger than just MasterChef. And I remember at that time thinking like, oh no, like I'm probably not going to win. And who knows, like I'm just this, one other person on this planet. But I've seen the impact I've been able to make over the years on people with disability, people with vision impairment. And I've now realized that my bigger purpose, besides, yes, winning MasterChef is great, being able to write the cookbook, being able to open the restaurants is fantastic. But I think the bigger picture is now I've been given this very public platform to be able to advocate for people who have disabilities or who are women in the restaurant industry, Asian Americans. And for me, I think that's the thing I'm most proud of and most fortunate and blessed to be in that position to give the voice to those who may not feel like they have a voice or who feel marginalized.
We couldn't agree more. Now, of course, you mentioned the restaurant. Let's talk about the Blind Goat. Let's head to Houston and just talk about your family traditions, how you're carrying on your Vietnamese culture for all of us to enjoy and respect.
Yeah, the Blind Goat is my latest full-scale restaurant that we just opened in Houston. It was my first restaurant, actually, that opened in 2019, but back then it was just a small station inside a food hall, and it's kind of outgrown that space. So for me, I call it a modern Vietnamese eatery, where I tell the story on the menu of what it means for myself being a Vietnamese American that grew up eating Vietnamese food, but also grew up in Texas. So you can find some threads of Tex-Mex food, of Texas barbecue, of Gulf Coast seafood, all kind of threaded throughout my menu at the Blind Goat. So for me, it's me telling my own story of who I am and my background on the plate.
Well, the family and I are headed to Houston for Memorial Day for a very special celebration at NASA. So you can expect us making a reservation for 4, Christine.
Awesome.
Okay. I hope I get to meet you in person. What an honor to lift you up and talk to you today from the kitchen, of course. Christine Ha, congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.